Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm Lights Camera Jackson, and welcome to LCJ Live. Today is April 23rd, 2023. I've got my boxing glove here. We're getting ready for Big George Foreman out this weekend. It's not the only big new release on Friday. We'll talk about that. How did Evil Dead Rise do up against Mario? I'll tell you here in just a second. A bunch of other new movies opened this past weekend. Did any of them make the top 10? We'll get into that here. As always, send in your questions and your comments here on this Sunday for LCJ Live as we celebrate 5 years of LCJ Live. As a matter of fact, it was a week ago yesterday, April 15th, back in 2018 when I started LCJ Live. And for the past 5 years and more than 250 episodes, we have had a great dialogue about all things box office, news, interviews, the world of entertainment, and I have so enjoyed bringing that to all of you. Sundays live at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, when we get the breaking box office news. When I was approached to do a show 5 years ago, it was what day of the week, what time, and I said, it's got to be Sunday, it's got to be noon, it's got to be live to talk about everything going on, including the fact that Mario wins again. Super Mario Brothers movie, $58.2 million. It's at $434.3. Get this, the second biggest Universal movie of the 21st century. The biggest animated movie for Universal, Illumination. It's at $900 million worldwide. It's going to get to $1 billion worldwide, $500 million domestically, which was my prediction the day I saw it, the opening day on April 5th. It is going to get there. So congratulations to the Super Mario Brothers movie winning again. And it will probably win again next weekend before Guardians of the Galaxy shows up to kick off the month of May. So yeah, wow, Mario did really well again. If you've got questions or comments you're watching here live on YouTube Live, send them in. I'll answer them for you. Evil Dead Rise, a pretty solid number 2. $23.5 million for Warner Brothers. Now look, Warner Brothers has not had a great year. If you look at their box office results for the year so far, their biggest movie is Shazam! Fury of the Gods with $57 million and change. Their next biggest movie is Magic Mike's Last Dance with $26 million total. This will pass that for sure. Will it get to the $57.2 million, $5 million of Shazam? It depends on how big the drop is next weekend. Sometimes horror movies like to come out of the gate swinging and then they drop to like $7 million next weekend. That could be the case for Evil Dead Rise. Shazam could still be the biggest Warner Brothers movie heading into June 16 with The Flash, which is the next major Warner Brothers movie, I believe. House Party only made $9 million, $4.3 million for Mummies, the animated movie. So Evil Dead Rise will certainly be the second biggest, if not the biggest Warner Brothers movie. A solid open. 23.5 is not bad. And clearly horror fans went out and forced to see it, and fans of the Evil Dead franchise. Yeah, happy Sunday, LCJ, says Ethan Skelly. Thank you so much. Appreciate you watching me live here on YouTube Live. Next up is Guy Ritchie's The Covenant with Jake Gyllenhaal. $6.3 million, double what Guy Ritchie's last movie, which opened just last month, Operation Fortune Ruse de Guerre with Jason Statham and Aubrey Plaza opened to. It opened to a little over $3 million. This did double that, $6.3 million. I haven't seen it yet. I'm looking forward to, from what I've seen, a couple of the headlines, the reviews have been pretty good. So I'm looking forward to checking it out at some point. But I went to a different movie that opened the other day instead. I went to Beau is Afraid. I'll tell you my thoughts on Beau is Afraid, plus how it did at the box office here in just a second. So The Covenant, number 3. Very close for number 4. Once again, between these 3 movies, it's getting old me saying all this, but once again, John Wick, era, and Dungeons and Dragons, neck and neck and neck. John Wick, $5.8 million. It's at $168.9. It will pass the $171 and change of John Wick Chapter 3 Parabellum, so Lionsgate can breathe easy now. And but how higher? How much higher? Maybe it'll get to $180. Not a lot more than the last John Wick, but it will pass the previous John Wick. Here's to 5 more years, says Ethan Skelly of LCJ Live. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Now we go to Air. $5.6 million. It's at $41.9. I bet Amazon would like it to get to $50 million domestically. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it will try. And then Dungeons and Dragons. Honor Among Thieves, $5.4 million. It's at $82.2 for Paramount. I bet they thought it might get to $100 million. It'll make a run at $90. It will not get to $100 million. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Coming in 7th this weekend. I think. Yeah, The Pope's Exorcist, 3.3 million. It's at 14.9. Renfield right behind it, 3.1 million at 13.6. And then you've got Beau is Afraid. Now, I watched Beau is Afraid on Thursday. Sat through all 3 hours. Here's the thing about Beau is Afraid, which made 2.7 million this weekend and is at 3.2 million total. Ari Aster did Hereditary, a movie I thought was okay, didn't love. I like it more than Beau is Afraid. The first half of the movie is sort of interesting. I mean, it's got a lot of problems, and Ari Aster clearly had total creative freedom and could do whatever he wants. I like having freedom, but maybe not 100% freedom. I mean, he went crazy. He went crazy with what you put in a shot composition, how you trick the audience into thinking certain things that are happening when even though they're not happening. In the end, the movie, I don't think, has a ton to say. And I know there are going to be people who write pieces, long, extensive pieces, saying the movie has a lot to say. I don't think it does. Joaquin Phoenix, so much better in Joker than this. All he does for 3 hours, as I said on the radio, was go, what? Huh? Why? What? No? What? That's all he does for 3 hours. It gets annoying after like an hour and 10 minutes of that. The best scene in Beau is Afraid is an early scene, and this is not a spoiler because this sets the story in motion, when Beau finds out what's happened to his mother. He's on the phone. That, to me, is the best scene in the whole movie because it strips away all of these visual tactics, these storytelling tactics, these things to try to trick your mind and play games on you. It's actually decent acting. It's actually decent the way the camera zooms in. It's actually decent storytelling. The only scene I kind of liked in the whole movie. When you get to a certain point where there's a story being told about someone, at that point you just kind of sit and go, okay, what are we doing here? You know, what do you really want to get out of this experience? The whole final act, I think, is messy. Yeah, Beau is Afraid. No, it's a pass. I've seen worse movies. In fact, I think Ghosted is a worse film. The Ana de Armas, Chris Evans movie that's on Apple TV Plus, I think is a worse movie. But no. Beau is Afraid didn't work for me. 2.7 million, I don't think it's as much as A24 thought it was going to do this weekend. We'll see how it does over the next few weekends. Rounding out your top 10 this weekend is Suzume in its second weekend with another 1.6 million. It's at 8.4. Go see Suzume, an excellent anime film. Right behind it, Chevalier, the new biopic starring Kelvin Harrison Jr., which made 1.5 million this weekend for Searchlight. Not a fan of Chevalier. This is one of the most boring biopics. Incredibly melodramatic. I could predict every move this movie makes. One of my biggest disappointments of the year, Chevalier. Not worth your time. Not worth it. Not much substance. Yeah, that's a pass. Don't have the money yet for Somewhere in Queens, which is the new Ray Romano movie from Roadside. You'd think a movie with Ray Romano and his fan base is still out there would make more than $1.5 million, but we'll see when those actual results are released how much money Somewhere in Queens made this weekend. So, new movies that come out this coming week. Of course, Big George Foreman. Big George Foreman is from Sony. It's from one of their studios called Affirm. It's not Columbia. It's not TriStar. It's not Screen Gems. It's Affirm and Sony. So, really trying to make a name for themselves here with Big George Foreman, which I'm looking forward to seeing this week. Also out this week is Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, from The Age of 17 writer-director Kelly Freeman Craig, based on the iconic Judy Blume book, and Rachel McAdams and Kathy Bates star. That is out this week. You know, I hope it does well. I met Kelly. I interviewed her for Edge of 17. Looking forward to seeing this. I hope it does well. I'm seeing some predictions say it can do like 22, 23 million, what Evil Dead Rise did. I'm not sure it's going to be that high. I hope it does well, and I hope it's a good movie. But I don't know if it's going to do that high. Same with Big George Foreman. The marketing has been there, but are people kind of saying, I've seen enough of these sports biopics. Maybe it's a good movie, but will it do exceptionally well on this final weekend of the traditional spring movie season before summer starts with Guardians? We'll have to see. Interesting, very interesting this weekend coming up. You have two movies out in basically wide release from the same studio. It's rare. It's happened. Fox has done it when it was Fox a couple of times. There have been a couple cases, but it is rare. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret, and Sisu, which I watched last night, both coming out Friday from Lionsgate. Lionsgate putting out 2 movies on the same day. That is rare, but it's happening. I have watched Sisu. I am not allowed to say any thoughts on this movie until tomorrow. I have been embargo sworn by the studio. I can't say a thing. What I can say is I watched it. It was last Monday's Regal Monday Mystery Movie. I watched Blackberry from IFC Films that night instead. Blackberry is excellent. It opens May 12th. The performances are outstanding. Make plans to go see Blackberry, but I can't tell you what I think of Sisu yet. I can tell you it's 91 minutes. I can tell you I've seen it, and it opens Friday from Lionsgate. But starting tomorrow, you can look forward to my thoughts all over social media and the website and all my review outlets. Another movie I'm going to be, I think, seeing this week, as long as Disney hopefully sends a link, is the new Peter Pan and Wendy movie. Now, we've had so many spins on Peter Pan. I saw that Lost Girls movie that I thought was atrocious about a year and a half ago. I don't even remember what year it was. It was somewhere in COVID, a year or two ago. It was terrible. The Wendy movie that came out just before COVID started from Ben Zeitlin, I thought was pretty good. I thought it had a lot to say. It wasn't a perfect movie, but I thought there was a good amount of emotion and substance there. Of course, Finding Neverland, the Peter Pan animated movie. There have been so many other versions. There have been TV versions and film versions and animated versions and live action versions and films about the making of it all. And now we get this new Disney live action Peter Pan and Wendy version with Jude Law as Captain Hook. That's one of the most intriguing aspects I think about this new Peter Pan movie is Jude Law. So that comes out Friday on Disney Plus. I think I'll be seeing it in time. I don't know if any other critics have actually seen it yet. We'll have to see. Now, this new animated series that comes out Friday on Apple TV Plus, Frog and Toad. Did you read the Frog and Toad books growing up? Because I did. And I was so thrilled to watch the first 2 episodes of the show. It is delightful. And I talked with executive producer and showrunner Rob Hoagie, who also did the Stillwater animated series for Apple TV Plus about the panda. It's a very good show as well. So tomorrow, new AnimationScoop.com Q&A and LCJ Q&A podcast episode with Rob Hoagie talking about the Frog and Toad show, including working with author Arnold Lobel's children and bringing together Nat Faxon and Kevin Michael Richardson to voice Frog and Toad. We talk about it all. It's a great conversation. It kicks off season 15 of the LCJ Q&A podcast, and we're almost about 270 episodes in. Season 15 of the LCJ Q&A starts tomorrow with my conversation with Rob Hoagie. More fun episodes coming at you in early May with some makers of some great animation content, including Rally Road Racers, movie coming out May 12th. So look forward to all of that, kicking it off tomorrow. Did you go to any of the movies that opened this weekend? What did you see? What did you like? What did you not like? I'll be here another minute or two here on LCJ Live if you want to send in your thoughts. What's number 1 next weekend? It's got to be Mario again. Mario could do another $35 million. Because there are going to be some families who go to Guardians of the Galaxy, so it'll take away some of that money. But it'll still do all right all the way through Little Mermaid and Spider-Verse into the month of May and the very beginning of June. Mario will keep doing well and I think get to that $500 million domestic total. May even get to 550 at this point. Mario could do another 35. Evil Dead Rise could drop to 7 or 8. And we could see George Foreman and Are You There, God doing more than 7 or 8 million. Sisu, it depends on how big the audience is. It could do about 3-4 million, maybe more if people find out what it is and are interested in going to see it. Mario's number 1. Maybe Are You There, God comes in second over George Foreman. It could be a good battle. It just depends on how high the interest is for both of them. I think they'll both do more than what Evil Dead Rise does, unless Evil Dead Rise has a decent hold of 12 or 13 million, but I don't see that happening. So there you go. As we round out the month of April, when we're back here next Sunday on LCJ Live, it will be the final day of April, and we will preview the summer movie season with Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 kicking it all off a week from Friday to get things going. A lot of movies coming out May 12th, Fast 10 on the 19th, Little Mermaid on May 26th, and then June's got Spider-Verse, Elemental, The Flash, Strays, No Hard Feelings, Indiana Jones ends the month. Ruby Gillman. It's a big June. And then July and August will be here. Excuse me. And yeah, I think the theaters are going to do well. They're gearing up. They continue to do well with Mario. Evil Dead Rise was great for the theaters this weekend, indoor and the drive-in theaters. And then get ready for Guardians and Fast 10 to just go boom, boom. And Book Club as well in the month of May. And hopefully Blackberry makes some money. And I think the theaters are going to do very, very well this entire summer season. As always, go to Twitter. It's LCJ Reviews. YouTube.com/LightsCameraJackson. Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. Listen to my latest segment on 99.5 The River. And the LCJ Q&A returns tomorrow. Thank you for watching today's episode of LCJ Live. Stay well. Have a good Sunday. I am going to watch today a movie that is getting a remake in just a few weeks. A remake, a new version, whatever, a reimagining, whatever you want to call it, that is going to debut on a major streaming service. Can you figure it out? I'll tell you, it's White Men Can't Jump. I've never seen it. I'm going to watch it today. I'll share my thoughts on social media for White Men Can't Jump ahead of the new version that comes out on Hulu May 19th. I figure I got to see the original, so I'm going to do that today. Thanks for watching LCJ Live, everybody. Have a good Sunday. Take care. I'll see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.